Hello. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. I am Gardani, the president of the FreeAstroScience. And tonight we are talking about the blue moon. The blue is a folk name of the total moon eclipse. But before, before introducing the speaker of let me let me say a word about the the dangerous situation. Uh, on Saturday, a new war started on our constitution states that we refuse the war as a source of suffering, and, and we promote dialogue and peace among the people's states. So we we, we want to address to our government to use the, their power to sow peace, progress, and, and dialogue. So, no, if no war, thank you so much. No, no, I want to introduce to a physicist, to astronomer. We brought two wonderful books, but but the most important that she is the vice president of the exercise group. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Flavia Ceccato.
Oh, thank you, Gerd, for introducing me in such an amazing way. I'm honored to be here with you to talk about so exciting topic, the blood moon, that will take place in a few hours ahead. Oh, that's awesome and very amazing phenomenon. And there is also a synchronicity with this aspect of nature because we are facing a very sad moment in the world because of this problem regarding US, Iran, and Israel, and the moon will bleed in a few hours. It's not because of the war, but it's synchronicity. I think it's very meaningful. But I will share now my presentation. Uh, I will talk about very basic concept about the blood moon. Let's check. Um, okay, let me prepare here. Um, so, first of all, I want to welcome everyone. I know several people are watching us right now from several places around the world. Maybe it's morning there, or evening, or night. Here in Brazil is 8:40 p.m. So on March 30, 2026, we have the opportunity to witness one of the most beautiful astronomical events visible to the naked eye. We can see ourselves without anything to help. A total lunar eclipse, often called blood moon. Events like this remind us that the universe is not distant or abstract. It's happening above us in real time, following rhythms that connect the sun, earth, and moon in an elegant cosmic dance. Tonight, we are going to explore what this phenomenon is, why the moon turns red, when and where you can see it fully, and how different cultures and even astrology interpret this moment. So, wherever you are, imagining stepping outside, looking up at the sky, and realizing that millions of people across the planet are sharing the same celestial experience. So, let's begin. To understand a blood moon, we first need to understand the mechanics of a lunar eclipse. The moon orbits Earth, and Earth orbits the sun. Most of the time, these motions occur in slightly different planes, so the three bodies don't align perfectly. But occasionally, the geometry becomes precise. The Earth moves directly between the sun and the moon. When that happens, our planet casts a shadow into space, and the moon passes through that shadow. There are different stages of this process. At first, the moon enters the outer part of Earth's shadow, called the penumbra, where the dimming is subtle. Then it reaches the inner shadow, the umbra, where the change becomes dramatic. During a total lunar eclipse, the moon is completely inside Earth's umbra. One important distinction is that lunar eclipses are completely safe to observe with the naked eye. The sun, we don't have the same luck, but with the moon, it's very, very amazing, very nice. Unlike solar eclipses, there is no risk because you are not looking directly at the sun. That accessibility is one reason why lunar eclipses have fascinated cultures around the world for millennia. The term blood moon is not a scientific classification. It's simply a popular name inspired by the reddish appearance the moon can take during totality. So the key idea here is alignment. A blood moon is the visible result of celestial geometry, a moment when the positions of the sun, earth, and the moon create a temporary but beautiful shadow interaction in space. One of the most striking aspects of a total lunar eclipse is the color. Instead of disappearing into darkness, the moon takes on shades of copper, crimson, or deep orange. This transformation happens because of Earth's atmosphere. Normally, sunlight contains all wavelengths, what we perceive as white light. But when light passes through the atmosphere, shorter wavelengths, especially blue light, scatter more easily. This scattering process is known as Rayleigh scattering, and it's the same reason our sky appears blue during the day and red during sunrise or sunset. During a lunar eclipse, Earth blocks the direct path of sunlight to the moon. However, some sunlight still travels through the edges of the atmosphere. But the time that light emerges, most of the blue wavelengths have been filtered out, leaving primarily red and orange tones. That filtered light continues into space and illuminates the moon. Interestingly, the exact color varies from eclipse to eclipse. Dust, pollution, or volcanic particles in the atmosphere can deepen the red tone. So each blood moon carries a subtle fingerprint of Earth's atmospheric conditions at that moment in time. In a sense, the moon becomes a projection screen for our planet. Let's take a closer look at some of the key numbers behind this lunar eclipse, because they help us understand just how special this event really is. The entire phenomenon lasts about 5 hours and 39 minutes from the moment the moon first touches Earth's shadow until it completely exits. That may sound long, but most of time involves gradual transitions. The most dramatic portion, what we call totality, lasts just under 1 hour. During those 58 minutes, the moon is fully immersed in Earth's inner shadow, and that's when the deep red coloration becomes visible. Another important measurement here is something called the umbral magnitude, which in this case is around 1.15. In simple terms, that number tells us how deeply the moon passes through Earth's shadow. Because this value is greater than 1, the moon travels through the central region of the shadow cone, which usually produces a darker and more visually impressive eclipse compared to shallow ones. And then there is the broader timing context. After this event, there will be a gap of several years before another comparable total lunar eclipse is widely visible again. Astronomy often works on long cycles, so moments like these become opportunities that don't come frequently. So, when you combine the long duration, the deep passage through Earth's shadow, and the relative rarity of the timing, this eclipse stands out as one worth observing, even if you only step outside for a few minutes to watch it unfold. Unlike many astronomical events that happen in an instant, a lunar eclipse is a slow and evolving process. It unfolds over several hours, as I said before, passing through distinct stages, each with its own visual character. The sequence begins, let's understand this with this infographic. The sequence begins with what we call the penumbral phase. At this moment, the moon enters the outer portion of Earth's shadow. The dimming is very subtle, so subtle that many observers might not notice it immediately, but it marks the beginning of the alignment. It will take place 8:44 UTC. Next comes the partial eclipse. This is when the darker inner shadow, known as the umbra, starts to cover the moon. Visually, it looks as if a curved bite is being taken out of the lunar disk. This stage is often dramatic because the contrast between the bright and shadowed regions become obvious. It will take place, the time will be 9:50 UTC. So then let's go to the climax of the blood moon. Then we reach totality. The moment when the moon is completely inside Earth's umbra, the most beautiful moment. This is when the famous red coloration appears. The transformation is gradual, and observers often notice that the moon doesn't just turn red, it changes shades continuously, sometimes appearing copper, orange, or even deep brown. Um, So the totality will happen 11:04 UTC. Um, the maximum eclipse occurs when the moon is closest to the center of Earth's shadow. That is typically when the color is deepest and the visual effect most striking. 11:33 UTC. After that, the process reverses. The moon slowly emerges from the shadow, returning to a partial phase, then finally exiting Earth's shadow completely. Totality ends 12:03 UTC. So it will end 17 UTC. Okay. Watching the entire timeline can feel almost meditative because you are observing celestial motion happening in real time, a reminder that the universe is constantly moving even when it appears still. And now we talk about a very important thing related to observing a lunar eclipse. It's knowing exactly when it happens in your part of the world. You need to understand. Unfortunately, we are not able to bring every place here in this presentation, but we will try to give you some kind of information, very superficial information, but it will be enough to understand. Astronomical events are usually listed in UTC, Coordinated Universal Time, which provides a global reference. But what really matters is converting that to your local time zone, because the experience of the eclipse depends entirely on whether the moon is above your horizon at that moment. For example, in parts of North America, the eclipse may occur in the early morning hours, with some regions experiencing totality before sunrise. In certain cities, the moon might even set while still in totality, creating a dramatic but brief viewing window. On the west coast of the United States, and in places like OI, the timing can be more favorable, allowing for a full view of the red phase during the night. In contrast, some regions may not see the eclipse at all because it takes place during local daytime when the moon is below the horizon. That is why visibility varies so dramatically across the globe. This reminds us of something fascinating. The eclipse itself is a single cosmic event, but our experience of it is shaped by Earth's rotation. Where you stand on the planet determines whether you see the moon rising into shadow, glowing red at its peak, or disappearing beyond the horizon. So, before the event, check your local time carefully. A few minutes can make the difference between missing it and witnessing one of the most beautiful sights in the night sky. Now, so while time tells you when to look, this map answers a different question. How much of the eclipse you will actually be able to see from your location? The shaded regions represent the portion of Earth experiencing nighttime during the event. Where the shading is deepest, observers will see the entire eclipse from beginning to end. Those are the most favorable locations because the moon remains above the horizon for the full sequence. Closer to the edges of the shaded zones, the experience changes. In some places, the moon may rise already partially eclipsed, meaning observers miss the early stages, and in other regions, the moon may set before the eclipse ends, cutting the experience short. And of course, on the bright side of the planet, the daylight side, the eclipse is completely invisible, not because it isn't happening, but because the moon simply isn't in the sky. This highlights an important concept. Eclipses are not local events. They are large-scale celestial alignments that unfold in space, independently of human borders. What changes is only our vantage point on a rotating planet. There is something profound about that idea. At any given moment, different parts of humanity are experiencing different versions of the same cosmic phenomenon. Oh, that's awesome. Some see the full story, some see only a fragment, and some miss it entirely. The universe remains constant. Perspective is what changes. One of the most fascinating aspects of lunar eclipses is not just the science behind them, but how humans have interpreted them throughout history. For ancient civilizations, the sky was not simply a physical environment, it was deeply connected to meaning, power, and destiny. When something unusual happened in the heavens, it demanded an explanation. And without modern astronomy, cultures turned to mythology, symbolism, and storytelling to make sense of what they observed. In Mesopotamia, for example, eclipses were often associated with king, kingship and political fate. Babylonian astronomers were actually very skilled observers, but the cultural interpretation still framed the eclipse as a threat, sometimes requiring rituals to protect the ruler from danger. In the Inca civilization, the reddish moon was imagined as a jaguar attacking or devouring it. People would create noise, shout, or perform rituals to drive the animal away and restore cosmic balance. In ancient China, the explanation involved a celestial dragon swallowing the moon. Communities would beat drums or create loud sounds, believing they could scare the creature away. And in Norse mythology, eclipses were connected to cosmic wolves chasing celestial bodies across the sky, part of a larger narrative about fate and the eventual end of the world known as Ragnarok. What all these stories share is not superstition, but a human instinct, the need to interpret the unknown. Eclipses disrupted the predictable order of the sky, and humans responded with imagination, ritual, and meaning. Today we understand the physics, but the sense of wonder that inspired those stories is still very much alive. Up to this point, we've explored the astronomical and cultural dimensions of a lunar eclipse. Now we enter another perspective, astrology, which interprets celestial events not as physical causes, but as symbolic mirrors of human experience. In astrology, a lunar eclipse is considered an intensified full moon. Full moons already represent culmination, illumination, or emotional awareness, and an eclipse is seen as amplifying those themes, sometimes associated with turning points, revelations, or moments of internal clarity. For this particular event on March 3rd, 2026, astrologers note that the moon is positioned in Virgo while the sun is in Pisces. These signs are traditionally viewed as complementary opposites. Virgo is often associated with analysis, organization, health, and practical thinking. Pisces, on the other hand, is linked to intuition, imagination, emotion, and spirituality. From a symbolic perspective, this alignment can represent a tension or balance between logic and feeling, structure and flow, detail and vision. Astrologers sometimes interpret eclipses in this axis as moments that encourage reflection about habits, routines, emotional patterns, or life direction. Whether someone believes in astrology or not, it's interesting to recognize that humans have always used the sky as a framework for meaning. Astronomy explains the mechanics of the universe, while astrology reflects the human desire to connect the cosmic events with personal experience. Both perspectives, in different ways, reveal our enduring relationship with the cosmos. Now, let's talk about how to photograph the blood moon. Photographing a lunar eclipse can be an incredibly rewarding experience, and the good news is that you don't need extremely advanced equipment to capture it successfully. Preparation and understanding your camera settings often matter more than the camera itself. One of the most important factors is focal length. Because the moon appears relatively small in the sky, using a telephoto lens makes a huge difference. A minimum of around 200 millimeters can work, but lenses in the 400 to 600 millimeters range will reveal much more detail. And at those focal lengths, stability becomes critical. So a tripod is essential to prevent motion blur. Another key point is exposure. During totality, the moon becomes significantly dimmer than during a normal full moon. That means automatic settings may not perform well. Manual adjustments allow you to compensate by increasing ISO sensitivity and using longer shutter speeds while maintaining sharpness. Composition is also something many photographers overlook, including foreground elements like trees, buildings, or mountains, can create a sense of scale and storytelling, transforming a simple lunar photo into something visually dramatic. Planning your location ahead of time can make a big difference. Finally, consider photographing multiple phases of the eclipse, capturing the progression from partial shadow to full red moon allows you to create a sequence that tells the story of the event. Astrophotography is not only about technical precision, it's about patience, timing, and the excitement of capturing a moment that connects Earth to sky. One question people often ask after witnessing a lunar eclipse is simple. When will the next one happen? The answer reminds us that celestial events follow cycles, but those cycles don't always align conveniently with our location on Earth. For example, here in Brazil, I'm not sure if I will be able to see partially the eclipse because it will happen here the totality of the eclipse will happen about 8 a.m. So I think the moon already will already be disappeared this time. It's a pity for me. I'm so sad. After the March 30, 2026 eclipse, there will indeed be other total lunar eclipses, but visibility will shift to different parts of the world. For example, the event at the end of 2028 will favor regions across Europe, Africa, and parts of Asia, while observers in the Americas may miss the best phases. Oh, it's very sad for me. But then in June 2029, we reached something remarkable, a total lunar eclipse visible across nearly the entire world. Events like that are relatively rare because they require a very specific alignment between the moon's orbital path, Earth's rotation, and the timing of night time across continents. I will prepare myself to have a telescope and to be able to photograph the totality of the moon in 2029. Beyond that, eclipses continue to occur, but often with more regional visibility. This highlights an important aspect of astronomy. Opportunities are cyclical, but perspective is local. The universe provides the event, Geography determines whether we see it. So tonight's eclipse is not just another date on the calendar. It's part of a larger rhythm of celestial mechanics, a reminder that we are living on a moving planet within an evolving cosmic system. And sometimes the most meaningful moments are simply when we pause, look up, and realize that we are witnessing something that connects physics, history, and human curiosity all at once. So, thank you very much for watching this presentation, and let's start the discussion.
So, thank you for this master presentation. I like this so much, very much. So, uh, tonight, will we be more sensible or not? Flash. So, the blue moon influence our sensuality tonight? So, I like the part of astrology.
Oh,
I very I like it so much. The mix about science and meta science, metaphysics.
yeah.
But you know, in the in the human may 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 be coherent the both vision, rationality and irrationality. Uh, Science and religion, physics and metaphysics. So you made a very great presentation today. So do you have something more to say to our followers?
Mm. I want to show some books I have. I don't know if I will be
Yes, of
able.
course, sure.
Oh, this is a book. Let me check at the distance. Oh, it's perfect.
Okay.
This book is a Swedish
It's
book
easier to
of the
read.
witches in Sweden. So the blood moon was very useful for the witches to make some kind of magic.
What?
I will show.
What?
I will
You're rich.
a witch.
You're
Uh,
rich.
it's funny. And I will show a card of tarot. This card, it's in Portuguese, is the Tarot of Marselha. It's very famous. And the in Portuguese moon is Lua. And the moon is a very meaningful card of tarot because it means confusion, a situation, a very emotional situation in life of the person that is playing the cards, and the person is suffering some kind of confusion, some kind of darkness on his life or her life. So there is some kind of the feelings are very expanded, and the person need to be careful with lies and gossips with this card. I want to show you also a book of astrology. This book was my grandmother's book. She died last year, but I received all of her books of astrology.
Oh,
She taught me astrology when I was 11 years old. Uh, and since then, I understand a little about astrology, and it's a very fascinating knowledge. My grandmother, she used it to have some kind of customers, people to consult her about how I will explain to you. We have in astrology a book, a very big book. The name of this book is Ephemerides.
wow.
And Ephemerides calculates the position of each planet when you was born. So when you were born, there is some kind of picture of the sky. For example, the sun was in some position, the moon was in another position, Mars was in another position, and this picture of the sky can reveal some traits of your personality. And you can calculate using the data of this book named Ephemerides. But nowadays, we have the advanced of technology, so we have computers to calculate everything for us. But in my grandma's time, she did all this manually, just using Ephemerides and making some kinds of calculation by her own hands.
To calculate my personality.
When is your birthday, Gerd?
What? What? What?
When is your birthday? June?
On 17 December.
Oh, December, 17 December. Oh, mine was 17 February.
Yes,
17 December is Sagittarius. You
yes.
are an extroverted person, very positive, with a lot of energy. And your planet is Jupiter.
Yeah, yes. Sagittarius is the best time ever. Is the best time ever. That's Sagittarius.
A very amazing. My son is Sagittarius also.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice, nice, very nice. So, uh, let's end this live talk. Thanks, thanks so much, Flavia. You made a great presentation tonight, as ever, as ever. So, let's do uh, another presentation in future. And but for now, I I have to thank you so much. Okay?
Oh, thank you, Gerd. It was an honor for me to participate in this fabulous event. And let's move on and check the blood moon and keep in touch to see
Yes,
the photos from around the world after the phenomenon.
tomorrow at in the Facebook channel. I could cast the light of the eclipse. So I asked to the follower to keep in touch our FreeAstroScience page to see the live whenever you want. So Flavia, and the other followers, uh, have a nice night, have a nice day, have a nice evening, have a nice morning,